Hi, my name is Morrison, and welcome to my suite in LA. Yeah, well, I think it goes without saying that with my seminal records that were made during the, I guess, 2006, 2007 period, I was using a lot of the Moog Voyager, like the rack, the Nord lead. A lot of those had a very nice metallic, round, kind of warm character to it, and those really comprised a lot of my early records. As far as plugins are concerned, I was really partial to the East-West Quantum Leap stuff. That was Nick. I think he's based in LA here, but Nick Phoenix was doing a lot of that, and there's some great stuff by them. They have a wonderful, in my opinion, the best piano replica of the Steinway D on the market today. So I love using that. Tone 2, I think Gladiator. I don't know if it's owned by Best Service, but it's a great plugin, kind of a trancey plugin, but it has a lot of character and body. Massive Native Instruments is great, Reactor's great. I'm always open to new little things as well. A good friend of mine from London, Charlie May, he had all these awesome Reactor plugs that he was, kind of creating. So I still use some of those and experimenting a lot. Also modulating stuff through the Eventide Eclipse that I have, and just with different various effects. You can do a lot even with just a simple guitar and then just passing it through, the Eventide. So that shaped a lot of the way I did a lot of my sound design work and synthesis design from the early days. But everything is always, it's ever changing, this industry with technology. So I'm always embracing new stuff. The only thing that I really would love to have and I don't have is the Andromeda, the elusive. And it's crazy how much those things have appreciated in value now because they're not, being made. But those were some of the pieces that I think formed not only a lot of my initial records, but some of the ones I still use today. A buddy of mine in Toronto, he had one, and the first thing that struck me was how heavy it was, because we had to move it to one of the other rooms. It felt like it was 150 pounds. It probably wasn't, but it was a very heavy unit. When I did a little bit of homework about it, I found that the company it actually cost more money to make it than actually to sell the thing. So that's part of the reason I guess they don't make it anymore. But between that there was this little, I don't even know what you call it. It was just this little black felt kind of thing. You run your finger over and it kind of modulated stuff, and the sounds in there, the quality, the warmth that was coming out of that unit. It's just a fantastic piece. So I will get one day, but that was the one piece that's eluded me so far. Yeah, I added some wonderful pieces this year. I can't speak highly enough. I can't tell you how much I love the Shadow Hills Industry stuff. Peter Reardon, super nice guy as well. I got acquainted with his products probably a couple years ago, and then this was around the time he was designing the mastering compressor. I have the Equinox, a mastering compressor, the Oculus, a whole bunch of his stuff, and he's just a really brilliant mind, and he thinks out of the box. It's very warm. There's different I believe there's the optical compressor and the discrete compressor. There's 3 different transistors, or steel, nickel, and cadmium, or iron, I think, off the top of my head. But in any case, that forms a huge part of my chain these days. The Thermionic Culture Phoenix, I have the red face edition. There's only 100 ever printed of those. I think mine's in the 50s or something. But it's a very, very nice. It's kind of like adding a little, putting a Ferrari engine in your track. That's the best way to describe it. Even if it's very subtle and very slight, I never really crank the threshold on it, but I do put it through as part of my chain, and it just adds this kind of, I don't know, there's just a character to it. Airfield Audio, a friend of mine, David Miller, he's based in Toronto. He used to be the engineer for the Tragically Hip. It's a very big Canadian band. And he designed this thing called Airfield, this company, I think maybe around 5 years ago. Got glowing reviews all across the board, and it's just a very open, wide-sounding compressor, and that's the best way. It's my little secret weapon, and I love it. Manly Massive Passive Mastering EQ. Just thinking of some other. I really want a Pultec EQ. It's expensive to get 2 of the things, but I really want one of those. And what else is in my chain I use a lot? Oh, I have a Neve Portico 2 master bus processor. Wonderful. It certainly helps sometimes. Like, I mean, a huge part of my Alpine mastering company that I have is with mixing and mastering for clients. So sometimes if there's a problem with a pre-master and something is just not quite right, it's really nice because you can get a little surgical and try to accentuate some frequencies that may be lacking or maybe overstated in the mix. So that's a wonderful piece as well. I love gear, and I'm always very open and receptive. Like, we're in a wonderful period right now where technology is increasing at an ever fast, pace. There's always new gear. Every other week I'm hearing about new stuff. I heard about this one company called Leonard Audio, or Leonard, I don't know. It's something like, it's something along those lines, and apparently it's amazing stuff, and I haven't actually played with it yet, but yeah, I'm a real gearhead. I enjoy it, and I like the different characteristics and the guys that actually make this stuff. It's completely over my head. I went to the school of hard knocks for music production, so there was no like formal training for me in any sense. But I mean, I had a classical music background. I was competing, playing piano all over the place as a child. But as far as like the actual technical side is concerned, I had to just learn through my friends and through just being in the studio, sitting. I'm kind of a visual learner, so just by just absorbing everything when I was like in my early 20s. It's the best part about being a music producer, an engineer, whatever you want to call it, is that you're always learning. There's never a point where you feel like you've accomplished everything, and if you do feel like that, then you have your head up your ass because there's just so much more to learn all the time. Yeah, well, to be honest, this is kind of like my coming out year, I guess you could say. It's my first artist album. I've been producing, like I said, for 6-7 years or so, but I never had like a cohesive body of work. So for me, this has been a real this has been like a labor of love for me. Like a year and a half, I'd say, like been a year and a half or so of creating this album. Right now, I think there's 12 or 13 tracks finished out of what I want to be around like 16. Working with brilliant artists. I got signed to Sony last year, and they've been helping a lot with getting the vocalists together, and doing these sessions has been very fun. It's just been very liberating for me. I've written so many dance records that there's a certain point where I love the music. Of course, I'm going to be playing it tonight, at Avalon, but there's a certain point where I just want to be a little bit more free as an artist. I love the idea of songwriting, being in the studio with other musicians, rock guys, top line writers, lyricists. It's a lot of fun for me. The collaborative process is a very healthy one for my headspace, and yeah, like I guess a good thing for me to plug right now is my album for Sony. My first release is going to be out first single off the album is going to be out next week. It's called Secrets, featuring a good friend of mine, Mike Tompkins, and yeah, I hope it hits the Billboard charts. You never know the trajectory of records. So, I mean, I love the record. I think it's great. I'm excited about all the records, though. There's so many that I can't even talk about right now that are just like, it's crazy, When I first started producing, I would have never thought in a million years. I mean, to be honest with you, all this music stuff, I never thought about. When I started the electronic music, I was DJing in my parents' basement. It was an underground thing. In the vinyl days, it was not commercial, and never in a million years would I think that I had a residency at Amnesia or at Space or whatever. And not only all the, I got everything in spades for the DJ side, but now there's like this whole production side of working with great artists and pop artists and rock bands and friends and just a lot of great music. And I feel really happy at the moment, so I'm very grateful for that.